And good morning, and good afternoon, good evening. Well, where in the world are you? Depends on how in the world are you, as my old college president used to say. How in the world are you? So it is Wednesday, 7th of July. Okay, wait a minute. Let that sink in for a minute. It is already the 7th of July. Yikes! For your 2021, it's the John Lavenia Success Mastermind, and I'm your guy, Glen Henderson, here for your Wednesday general session. Glad to see you. Glad you could come out. Just a quick housekeeping deal to let you know what's going on today. It's Gen Sesh now, Hospitality Suite, right after this. And then this afternoon, later on, a bit of a time change today, actually. The hospitality suite is later on, 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Meanwhile, at 1 p.m. Eastern Time today, our good friend Mandy Anderson will be swinging by with books for Britain. So please do note the time change. 1 p.m. Eastern Time, books for Britain with Mandy Anderson. I believe that's 7 p.m. 6 p.m. UK time. And then a little bit later on this afternoon, evening, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, Life and Business Tools with our good friend, Mr. Adrian Garner. Well, now it's good to see you, Edward. Dr. Mosley's in the house. Great to see you. Daisy and Gail, Suzanne. What's for dinner? Suzanne, we have to be invited over.
You're all welcome to come.
On the next flight, I'll tell you. And then my new in-person friend, Virginia Pipitone. You know, Virginia, I have to tell you, you're taller than I imagined.
Why did I know you were going to say that? Yes.
Yes, and of course,
I'm
of
almost
course.
5'10". Yeah, I'm almost 5'10".
I know, and it's always a blast to see the money mama. What's up, Lindsay? You are here, and Robin Starkey. Well, we shall wait. Somebody told me one time. I always say hello to people before they've fully connected to audio. But Robin's connected to audio now, so nice to see you, Robin. So Virginia? Did we not have ourselves a ball on Saturday?
We had a great time. The ribs were excellent. All your friends were great to meet. And yeah.
Excellent. It was a we almost had a little bit of a mishap with the ribs. I don't think I mentioned this. We moved into this new house, and of course you got to have a smoker, right, Edward? So first thing, I went and got myself a smoker. It wasn't expensive, a few $100, no big deal. And so I thought, I'd been practicing, working with it, doing some different things, mostly baby back ribs. And so we had must have been about 15 people over the house on Saturday, including our good friend Virginia, who was with us all the way from Vegas. Can you believe this? It was fantastic. And so I had count them, 5 racks of baby back ribs in the smoker. And all was going great. Had them on, set the proper temperature and the wood chips and everything to create the beautiful. And then, after about a half hour, I went down and checked on them and realized I had forgotten something. If you know anything about smokers, that generally you have the racks, the wire racks where you put your meat, and then the little element that creates the smoke down at the bottom, and in between those two, with the smoke coming up from the bottom, and as the meat or whatever you got in there, as it cooks and everything, it's going to drip off some juices and all sorts of nice things. And so I realized that I had forgotten to put the drip pan underneath the meat, between the meat and the smoking element. So there was, shall we say, considerably more smoke than was necessary to actually cook the meat. I don't think it would have been a fire hazard or anything, but oh boy, when I opened the drawer to check on it, man, the smoke almost knocked me over. Anyway, I got it straight, got the drip pan in there, and I think as Virginia has testified, the ribs were pretty good. I figure if I keep practicing, maybe I'll get them right. And we had ourselves a good time, good friends, and some people that I know from business and personal, and then of course from here, from the mastermind. And yeah, some of you saw the thank you, Gail, Suzanne. Um, you know, certain things in life, certain things in your world that that you do, and you say, "Well, what do you do?" Well, I'm an accountant, or I'm a physician, or I'm a salesman person, or whatever it is that you do. And many times people just tend to define. We can have a tendency to define ourselves by what we do. It's almost natural. You've worked hard, you've built a career, and what do you do? Well, I'm an accountant, I'm an architect, I'm a minister, I'm a whatever it is, right? This is what I do, and my identity. I've always been kind of funny in that I've never really identified myself. I've never really, how can I put this in the best way? I've never really chosen to define my identity in terms of my job, if that makes sense. People say, what do you do? I'm an architect. I've never really said that. I've always said, well, Glenn, what do you do? Well, I work in IT. Oh, okay. Well, what do you do? Well, I'm running a business, or I'm doing this or that. The only answer I've ever given to the question, only times I've ever answered the question, what do you do with I am? Two different answers that I give. One, sometimes people ask me, what do you do? And I say, I am a professional networker. That's what I do. Even more to the point, I'm a professional connector. I connect people. I connect with people. I connect people with each other. Connect people with their deepest, help people connect with their deepest dreams and desires. And then I help them connect with the resources they need to make those things happen. So I'm a connector. The only other I am answer I've ever given to that question is, Glenn, what do you do? I am a singer. And so you heard that, if you saw the video in the group there, you heard that answer on Saturday. So if there's anything like that, if there's any answer, any I am answer, they talk about the affirmations. I am a singer. So there you go. That's what we'll say about that. Anyway, today I was thinking about the conversation that we had last week. Remember last Wednesday about mid-year, right? The mid-year milestones. What have you done? Like Savick said to David and Marcus, well, how much damage have you done? And what is yet to come? Yeah, that's the Star Trek thing. Well, I'm saying, what have you done? That was what the conversation last week. What have you done so far in 2021? And what is yet to come? And we kind of walked around and took a look at some of those answers, and we had some suggestions about what is it you intend to accomplish, and how to keep yourself, get yourself moving, or keep yourself moving toward some of those goals. And it got me to thinking about how that commitment to a goal, how that decision that we make around what do I intend to accomplish for the rest of this year. And as John mentioned, always best to set those commitments, to make those commitments with specificity. Notice how I took my time saying that so I wouldn't step on my tongue trying to say specificity, as John, being specific about our goals, about what we want to accomplish. Here's what I was put in mind of today. And some I might have thought of this sort of the title, the topic of what we're talking about today. It came out of a book that I read and that I like to refer to. It's this guy here, Jeffrey Gitomer. Jeffrey Gitomer's Little Gold Book of Yes Attitude. Somebody can track that down for me on one of the online sites where you go and buy stuff like this. Little Gold Book of Yes Attitude. If you wanted to drop the link in there, I'd be most grateful. Anyway, it's a cool little book. How to find, build, and keep a yes attitude for a lifetime of success and happiness. Now, some of you all know that I am probably as much of an optimist, as much of a forward thinker as most people I know. And I found over the years that it has kept me in good stead. It has gotten me through a tough situation or two, and it's allowed me to help other people to get through a tough situation or two in my time. Here's the thing about having a yes attitude, having a positive, optimistic attitude, and setting empowering, inspiring goals. Here's what you'll find, because I know I have. What you'll find is that anytime you start something new job, take a like a commission only sales gig, or you start something a home business, a new venture of some sort. Invariably, what's going to happen is you will tell someone about it. You'll share it with a friend of yours, and they'll say something along the lines of, "You're crazy." Yes? Ever heard that? Ever shared a goal, something you wanted to accomplish with somebody, with a friend? "You're crazy." And then you tell your best friend, your BFF, your ace boom boom. You tell your best friend, catch you next time, Cyril. Nice to see you drop in. Thanks for stopping by. And you tell your best friend, and you get, "You're crazy." What are you, nuts? Come on, man. Be realistic. And you tell your mom. Mom says, "You're crazy." Or whoever. It's called, Jeff Gitomer refers to it as the 3 you're crazy rule. 3 you're crazy. You tell somebody, you set a big goal, you start something new, you tell somebody to tell you you're crazy. Then you go talk to somebody else and they tell you you're crazy. And then you chat with somebody else, a third person, they tell you you're crazy, and then you quit. It does happen. In fact, that stops most people. Most people, when they start a new venture, when they start a business, now look, I haven't taken a survey, but if I did, I bet you we'd find most people can take about 3 no's or about 3 "you're crazies" before they quit. Most people can't get past about 3 no's or about 3 "you're crazies." How about you? How many no's can you get through? How many crazies? Before we get to that, let's take a look first at why you might have done this new thing in the first place. Why you might have taken taken on this new venture, the new job, or the new sales gig, the new home business, or the new e-commerce deal, whatever it was you decided to do. Why'd you do it in the first place? Well, I don't know. Maybe you really liked the idea. Thought it might have been something fun to do. Which, by the way, is a perfectly legitimate reason for trying something new. It doesn't always have, our motivations don't always have to be about, "Hey, I'm going to be the next big business tycoon," or "I want to make $1 million." Or even, "Oh, I'm such a good guy. I have such a good heart. I really want to help a lot of people." None of these motivations are good or bad in themselves. Not a single thing wrong with wanting to help people. Not a single thing wrong with wanting to make a lot of money. And it is also perfectly legitimate to say, you know what? This would be a cool thing to do. I like this. One of the things yeah, you knew it was coming, didn't you? The Star Trek reference, it's coming. Star Trek Generations. One of the films. In fact, it was the last film to feature any members of the original cast. One of those featured was the actor William Shatner, James T. Kirk. And he's in a scene, he actually meets, can you believe this, Star Trek fans? Captain Kirk and Captain Picard meet in person. Picard is trying to persuade Captain Kirk to come back with him to where he was and help save the galaxy, as you do, right? And he's explaining the situation, how dire, how the forces of evil are arrayed against us, and blah, blah, blah. And Kirk says to him, so, you're talking about this planet, right? Yes. And there's a madman looking to destroy all life on this planet. Yes. We say the odds are against us, and the situation is grim. Picard says, you could say that. Kirk thinks for a minute, and he says, sounds like fun. Sometimes you come across something and it looks like it could be fun. Guess what? Do it. Go for it. Why not? What do you got to lose? Have some fun. Enjoy it. You might actually even make some money. Who knows? So sometimes you come across something, you like the idea, you think it might be it might be fun to do. Yeah, opportunity, great opportunity. And another reason, opportunity looks great. You think maybe you might actually earn some money or gain some valuable business experience, some valuable job experience. Go for it. It could enrich your career prospects. Fantastic. Go for it. Or maybe you thought this thing could be a chance for you to move a step closer to your dreams. You ever been presented with something, an idea, an opportunity, and as you're looking at it, as you're listening to whoever's sharing it with you, a light goes on. Bing! And you think to yourself, you know what? This could be it. This could be the way for me to get to where I really want to be. This could be the vehicle to get me to my dreams, to get me one step closer anyway. Yeah, let's do this. And you're excited about it, you are fired up, you are passionate, and then you talk with a couple of people and they say, you're crazy. Has this ever happened to you? Yes? Yes or yes? Yeah? So there's a name for people like this. There's a name for the people who hear you talk about something you want to do and they tell you you're crazy. You may want to write this down. It might be helpful for you. These people, Jeff Gittimer refers to these people as pukers. Yes, pukers, as in, yeah, see, their job is to dump all over your dreams. Sorry, does that sound harsh? Good, because it is. There are people out here in the world who are absolutely convinced that their job is to make you feel stupid. Their job is to make you feel inadequate, silly. Their job is to remind you how bad you are at making decisions. You don't know anybody like this, do you? Pukers. Avoid these people at all costs. You know, here's a good reason, a couple good reasons to avoid them. There are, well, we'll get to the reasons in a minute. There are a couple of different ways to tell that somebody's puking on you. I'm using this terminology deliberately, partly because it's what Jeff Gitomer uses in the book, and also, yes, to remind us how disgusting it is for someone to talk to us this way. Here's how you can tell somebody's puking on you. They tell you to get a real job. Oh, don't you hate that crap? Oh, come on, man. You know that's never going to. Why don't you just get a real job? They take it upon themselves to share with you at least 11 examples of other people they know. Oh, yeah, my brother's girlfriend's cousin's Barbara's pastor's sister-in-law's brother-in-law tried that and didn't work out. They went broke. Why don't you get a real job like everybody else? Ever had anybody actually ridicule your judgment? I had somebody tell me one time when I had started a new home business. They said, it was someone very close to me who said, Glenn, you can't, don't you understand? You can't do those kinds of things. You can't do those sorts of things, Glenn. You don't have an entrepreneurial mind. You don't have what it takes. Glenn, I'm trying to help you. Don't you realize? I'm trying to save you the disappointment. Don't you realize you're not built to do those kinds of things? You're just a working guy. Imagine somebody saying something like this to me. Oh boy, did that piss me off. Anyway, they ridicule you. They make fun of the imagined. Oh boy, they make fun of the imagined outcome, as Jeff says. Why you want to go for something? Don't you know nobody makes any money at those things? Don't you know that? Remember that guy that we knew back in school? He tried that, and yeah, you remember how broke he was, and you saw him back. Remember you saw him at the school reunion, and he wasn't doing anything. Why put yourself through this? Sometimes pukers think that they're acting and speaking in your best interest. And you know what all of this puking tells you? It tells you a lot about them. Tells you nothing about you, with one exception, which I'll get to in a minute. Some of the reasons people puke on you, where we're going. Some of the reasons people puke on us, their own limiting beliefs, their own limiting low, poor self-image, their own low self-esteem. You've heard the story. We've all heard the story, right? About crabs in a cage. I like to think of actual people. Remember the old saying, older than all of us, misery loves company. Remember hearing people say that over the years? What that's always suggested to me is that your ambition, your forward-looking attitude, your dreams of achieving what it is you desire in your life, with regard to other people, functions like nothing so much as a mirror to them. To reflect, and in many cases reflects back to that person and reminds them of their own failure to act. You serve your ambition, your drive serves to them as a reminder of their lack of drive. And nobody likes to be reminded that they're not achieving those things that they thought or said they want to achieve. Nobody likes to be reminded of their own failures and shortcomings. Nobody. And so, rather than, as the old saying used to go, go stand in front of a mirror and face myself and think, I'll make fun of you. The old thing, right, about people bringing you down so as to make themselves feel a little bit lifted up, make themselves feel a little taller. Jealousy, envy, oh my gosh, what destructive emotions. Sometimes people realize that they haven't done with their lives what they know they need to do or can do or have said to themselves that they ought to do. And they see someone else taking steps, moving forward, moving confidently in the direction of their dreams. And so they're jealous of you. They're envious of your power. Nothing you can do about that. Well, actually, there is. Actually, there is. A couple things. Number one, look, take a look. Anybody gives you that kind of response, anybody ridicules your dreams, look at a couple of things. Look at their career. Do you want their career? Do you want the career they have? In some cases, look at their car, look at their house, look at their lifestyle. Is that the lifestyle you want for yourself? Look at their attitude. Look at the mindset that they're expressing as they talk to you. Is that the mindset you want to have? Is that the attitude you want to carry along with you as you go through life? Look at their level of success or lack thereof. Is that the level of success you desire in your life? If it is, then it might make some sense to pay attention to their ideas, their constructive critique. Might make sense to pay attention to their suggestions if they have the kind of success and lifestyle and attitude that you desire for your life. Role models, right? If not, in other words, if you wouldn't trade places with them, why should you listen to them? Who's the more foolish? The fool or the fool who follows him? Puke stoppers. You want some puke stoppers? You want to know how to have done with this once and for all? You know, a lot of times when we are cherishing a goal, we are cherishing a dream, and we are wanting to, more than anything else, to work, do whatever we need to do to achieve that. There can be a tendency to get a bit defensive, to try to defend my dream. Well, no, wait a minute. You don't understand. Here's why I'm doing this. Here's why I think it makes sense. Well, seems to me, and I mean, and that's a very natural reaction, but it seems to me that if someone is puking all over you, chances are they're not doing it because they want to help you be successful. So there's no point in defending my goals and defending my dreams to someone who has no commitment whatsoever to help me achieve them. Don't stoop to their level. Take the high road, as the old saying goes, rise above it. You want to make somebody's head explode? Part ways with them with positive words, as Jeff Gitomer says here. Something like, you know what? You may be right. Tell you what, I'll keep you posted. I'll keep you updated on the progress. And by the way, when it starts to pay off, at what point would you like me to follow up with you and share with you how to get started? People are not accustomed to someone who doesn't fight back. You may be right. Tell you what, I'll keep you posted on my success. Why don't I touch base with you in a few months, and we'll take a look together and see what happened. Be cool. As I said, we talked about not defending myself. John Lavenia likes to say, right? I love it. Love this saying of his. I don't know if it's original with him. Tell me what you're going to do, but show me first. So, let your success speak for you. Let your success defend your decision. Change your environment. That's another idea. Find places where success is occurring, where success is encouraged, where success is taught and promoted, and spend your time there. Ooh, I know a place. Yep. And I suspect this is probably why John started this whole blessed thing in the first place. As a place, to serve as a place where success is encouraged and promoted and taught and is occurring. We celebrate around here. We celebrate somebody's stats being up. We celebrate wins, big and small. We celebrate progress around here. Where else are you going to find an environment like this? Not too many places, I suspect. Oh, and bottom line, maybe one last resort, change your associations. Well, we hear so many different sayings about how we are the sum total, or our success will be the sum total, or at least an average of the 5 people we spend the most time with. You know who I'm spending time with these days? John Lavenia, Shannon Lavenia, Jim Rohn, Tony Robbins, right? And you can do it virtually by books. I'm reading a book right now, which I'll share with you at some point, some of the insights that I'm picking up from it. It's called U Squared. It's all about quantum leaps. I'll let you know. So you see, this is an opportunity that each of us has to change our associations and literally quit listening to, quit hanging around with people, quit spending time with people who do not support our dreams, who do not support our goals, who do not support us, or at least cheer for us on our road to success. What do you owe those people? On the other hand, what do you owe your family? What do you owe to yourself? My life changed drastically when I started to care less or pay less attention to what other people think. Chances are, oh, by the way, people make so much of, well, what will people think? Who cares? They're probably not thinking about you anyway. So go on and do what you're going to do. So pukers, oh my gosh, I hate being around negative people, don't you? Hate being around people who refuse to support my goals. And by support, I don't mean they're going to jump in and help, or they're going to join up and work with me or anything like that. Hey, Glenn, that's a great idea, man. Go for it. Good luck. Let me know how it goes. That's great. Here's the thing. Ultimately, it doesn't matter what someone else thinks. Only thing that matters is that you are focused mentally and emotionally on what you intend to do. And as Napoleon Hill says, you implement perhaps the most powerful weapon you have in your fight to achieve your dreams, and that is a mind tightly closed against negative influences. And sometimes those negative influences can come from the people that are closest to us. These can be tough decisions to quit associating with friends we've had for years, with family members in some cases. Not that we don't love them, not that we don't care about them anymore, but we're simply no longer listening to them. Because we've got stuff to do. We've got goals to achieve. What's something you're working on second half of the year? Is this negative, naysaying, fault-finding, puking person going to help you get there? No? Well, then why in the world are we listening to them? Why in the world are we giving them the time of day? Does this sound harsh? Good. No, you know what? Again, who cares whether it sounds harsh? You've got goals to achieve. So go, 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 and let no puker stand in your way or drag you back. I'm done. What do you think? What say you? I know there's been one or two thoughts passing through a mind, because I've seen a couple of knowing smiles. And see, whenever we talk about something like this, a topic like this of people who, for good reasons or bad, do everything they can, seems to drag us down. Every time we have a conversation like this, I always see in somebody's eyes, oh yeah, him. Oh yeah, there's that guy. Oh yeah, it's my sister-in-law. Oh yeah, what am I gonna do? So invariably, you thought of someone, didn't you? Yes, you did, Lindsay. I saw that. Absolutely. So succeed. You know, you hear people say succeed in spite of the negative opinions of others. Sometimes that works. Like, I'm going to prove you wrong. Sometimes the thing to do is just succeed. And it doesn't even have to be in spite of the negative opinion of another. Why? Because the negative opinion of the other person doesn't matter at all. Seems to me that is perhaps sort of the highest form, and even higher form, to be sure, of mental and emotional freedom. When the negative, or the positive in some cases, opinions of others don't really matter one way or the other. Why? Because I'm doing this for my reasons. That to me is real freedom, isn't it? Love it. Love it. We're getting there. We are, all of us, getting there. We're getting to the point, as we continue to hang around the winners here in the John Lavenia Success Mastermind, and wherever else you may choose to spend your physical and mental and emotional time. We are on that road to moving forward without being dragged down by the opinions of others. Whew. And boy, when you finally get to the point where you realize, oh, I'm free of all that. Doing this for my reasons, no one else's. What freedom. Ingrid, first hand of the day. How are you?
I'm well, thanks. How are you?
Doing great. Doing great. Thank you. What's on your mind? Let me hear.
So I'm listening to you and I know what you're saying, and it still seems a little far away from me because it seems like forever. I haven't really shared what I do with people unless I actually want them to know, because it's been forever, like always. I've gotten involved in lots of adventures. I mean, I just see them as those. I don't really care if they it doesn't destroy my life if they don't work out. You know, it was fun at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I learned something, whatever. But for me, it's always been, it's not, what are you doing? Get a real job. It's been, why would you want to do anything else? You're so lucky. You're a musician. I'm like, yeah, whatever. There's more parts to my brain than that. I literally, I don't even, I don't even quite relate to this conversation anymore because it's been so long that I just do what I'm going to do. Does that make any sense? Maybe it sounds a bit cold and maybe I'm missing out on opportunities, but Jesus, if I pay attention to everyone that comes up with some romanticized version of what I should be doing because it's like their fantasy to play violin, it's, you know, my God, it's just too much. So
Never get anything done, would you?
does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense. And in fact, I'm glad you brought that up, Ingrid. I'm glad you mentioned this because what you're sharing, like it's been so long, like it doesn't even matter anymore what other people think. That is the state of mind to which a lot of people are still aspiring. You know what I mean? And it is exciting to me to hear from the perspective of someone who has reached that. It's fantastic. Isn't that such a feeling? Okay, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, Ingrid. Was there a time in your past, in your recent or more distant past, was there a time when the opinions of others really did have a heavy influence on you? And what's the difference? And if so, what's the difference between then and now in the way you feel about things?
So forever, fun. I don't think I had an identity. I was always introduced as this is Ingrid. She plays the violin. So it got me a lot of open doors because I literally didn't have to do things. I never went to school if I didn't feel like it because, you know, I'd go be in some violin competition or whatever. But it always pissed me off that I wasn't never just Ingrid. And then having a lot of physical problems, I all of a sudden didn't have that crutch. And then I was like, holy shit, I have to get a personality now. This is kind of alarming. Big change. Plus, I was still living with my, you know, uber successful musician boyfriend, whoever it would be. The phone would always be ringing for them. And I'd be just handing over the phone. So this was like a major exploration for me as to what do I have to offer, right? Because people aren't, I can't go by my usual moniker. And I don't know what else I actually do. So that's when I started trying to find all sorts of things. I mean, anything. Like, because for a long time, I thought I wasn't going to be able to play anymore ever. And how was I going to earn money and do the things I like to do? You know, ride horses, that's not inexpensive and, you know, whatever. Because I had a good job, so I had good money. Yeah. So I tried tons and tons of things, and none of them really worked. But that's okay. I mean, at least it kept me busy. But everyone was disappointed for me. And that was a thing for me too. I was super disappointed. Lots of times I was totally freaked out. What am I going to do now? But too many people were disappointed and not enough people were going, hey, try this thing. Hey, it was always my having to figure something out. So I think it was about then. That would have been in about the late 80s, early 90s that I just was like, your opinions matter not. I mean, I had one employer, and I was working at a horse barn to pay my horse board because I couldn't pay for it otherwise. So I was working there, and he sat me down and he said, you know, you need to be doing something else. This is not a job for someone of your talent. And I was like, okay, hang on a minute. Who the hell decides what my job is and my talent? And again, you're just projecting. Maybe I like this. Maybe I want my horse to be able to be living somewhere. Maybe this is important to me. Like, who the hell are you to decide that this job is somehow beneath me? And I had lots of time working in the horse business when I was just doing manual labor where people would be really rude until they realized that I had this other life, and then they'd become super nice. And I'd say, you know what? You were an asshole to me 2 weeks ago. So like, don't change now just because you discovered I actually played in the Montreal Symphony. So I got a lot of that. I guess I would have been in the 80s. I just was like, no, you know, your opinions are formed on what you think is cool, and it's not my thing. So it was about then, I guess.
So what I'm hearing is at some point so many people were telling you this, that, and the other, and being so disappointed for you, and oh, why don't you try this? Oh, this isn't worthy of you. This is you just got mad and just like, hey, leave my life, leave me alone.
Yeah, pretty much.
See, I like, how about it? How about that? How about that? What if we quit being so nice all the time and got mad once in a while and like, hey, this is my life, leave me alone? You ever said that to somebody? It's my life, leave me alone. Billy Joel song. I don't care what you say anymore, this is my life, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so
I guess the question here in would be, what would we do if we weren't on some level trying to make someone else happy?
Oh.
Because that's really like about it. Like, I mean, I started violin because it was easy. It was good for me. I wanted to play the cello. It was more expensive to rent a cello than a violin. So I started on violin, and my mother was determined that I was going to be a violinist because during World War II, she was in the camps and she didn't get to fulfill her career as a musician. So guess what? You're going to do that now. And it worked out well. But from day one, where so many of us are doing something to please somebody.
What would you do? I love this. What would you do if you weren't doing what you do just to please somebody else? Or just to live up to somebody else's idea of what you ought to be doing?
Now, it sounds a bit simplistic because, I mean,
Not at
certainly
all.
I enjoyed violin. Don't get me wrong. It's gotten me lots of good toys, lots of fun. But what would you do if you didn't feel like that they would be disappointed, or, you know what I mean? Like, what would you do if you thought they liked you anyway? If you were like my kid's goal in life is to have a cat rescue and to live on the farm. He doesn't seem to be buying into that I need to make my parents' mother happy thing. And I see it as very freeing for him.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it doesn't sound stupid. It doesn't sound silly at all. And it doesn't sound simplistic at all. I know of people who have lived their whole lives doing what they thought somebody else thought they should be doing and come to the end of their life and they're miserable because they have never taken the bold step of going after their own dreams rather than fulfilling somebody else's pattern or idea of what their life was supposed to be. I cannot imagine a more miserable existence than living my whole life according to what somebody else thought my life ought to be like. Thank you, Ingrid. Boy, that's big time stuff right there. That is big time courage. Edward, what's up, Mr. Mosley?
How you doing, sir?
Outstanding. Outstanding. Please go forward.
I hope everybody else is doing good too. In this situation that we're talking about, I deal with it every day. And I deal with it in a way that is much more foundational than what we're talking about. And the way I deal with it is, number one, are we either going to edify our mission, our purpose, or are we going to edify the hidden fear that we have? Because what these people are saying to us is that this is my fear. I'm going to project that fear on you because I know you got it too, and they assume all that. So you have to think about in terms of where it's coming from and what the intention is, because a lot of times these people don't mean any negativity or any harm. It's just that they're ignorant to the fact of what you're trying to accomplish and where you're trying to go and what your purpose is. So I have a couple acronyms that will allow people to move right on, okay?
Here we go.
Because understand this, I'm in sales, okay? And I have people that will opt into my advertisement, give me their name, their number, their email address, and everything. Tell me they have no coverage, they need this, that sort of thing. And when I call them, they'll be like, I didn't do that. I said, well, why would I call you? Why? Why would I do that? And then when that happens, I always do the bozo on the bus so I get my attitude back where I need to be. Because people don't understand. I'm like, don't you understand the only reason I call you, the only reason I've got your information is because you gave it to me? Okay? The same thing occurs with direct mail. I get a direct mail lead. It'll have their name, address, who the beneficiary is, their phone number, the whole 9 yards. I'll call them and they're like, I didn't send that in. That's not me. Okay, great. So this is what I always do. I always say SOB.
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 Uh-oh.
SOB stands for slide over, baby. Next. Okay? Just slide over, baby. Next. I also say wow. WOW. And you know what that stands for? With or without you. Next.
With or without you.
And then the next one is some will, some won't, so what, someone's waiting.
SW. Yes, sirree.
Mm-hmm. So basically, when you're dealing with these people or you're dealing with these situations, circumstances, viewpoints, it's how they frame it. And they're framing it in a way that is to protect you and also to protect them. So you can't really get mad or get upset with it, because when you do, you're playing right into into where they want you to be. And they want you to get off purpose, off mission, and the whole 9 yards. So, make your mission the most important thing.
Love it. I love it. I love it. It's sometimes very helpful, as you say, to come up with a trigger in my own mind to help me shift my attitude, shift my state, if you like. SOB, I like this. Slide over, baby. With or without. Yeah, I said that to somebody recently. And they were talking about asking some questions and doing this. Well, I'm not sure, if I want to join. Okay, no problem. Just, with all due respect, I'm going to do this with you or without you. I'd much rather do it with you. But either way, I'm going to do it. Don't you know, they were grabbing the pen out of my hand. Shut up and take my money.
And the beauty of it, you can say it straight to their face. You can say,
yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
They don't even know. They don't even have a clue.
Ladies and gents, prepare yourselves. You remember those old E.F. Hutton commercials? When E.F. Hutton talks, people listen. Check it out, y'all. The Money Mama's about to speak. Lindsay, what's happening?
Nothing profound. It's just, you called them pukers, and that, to me, I hate that word, but it is so fitting. I love it.
Exactly.
And they do. They just want to blah all over you. It's like, okay, I don't want your job. I don't want, that just, I don't have the employee mindset. I'm sorry. We can't agree to disagree. We don't need to discuss this because I'm not backing down. I'll be as tall as Virginia. Watch me. I will
Love it.
Yeah, I just quit letting people steal my joy, because now I'm like, if I don't get at least 3, if you're crazy, then I'm not thinking big enough. That's the truth. That's the way I think about it. Like,
if you don't have at least 3 people telling you you're crazy, you're probably not thinking big enough.
Yeah, I'm crazy. Every day is better than being normal or average.
Somebody write this. Somebody should be writing this down. I told y'all, Money Mama, if you don't have at least 3 people telling you you're crazy, you're probably not thinking big enough. Nice. Hey, I found a quote, and unless there's a final thought burning a hole in the pocket of someone's mind, once again, check me on this, Mandy. Looks like we have a time change for today for Books for Britain.
Yes, we do. We have a time change to 6 p.m. now because There's a little football game on tonight that I want to watch.
Oh yes, I heard about this. So for this week only,
Yep.
1 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. UK time, books for Britain, and hopefully that little footy match will be over by the time we are ready for Life and Business Tools with Professor Adrian Garner at 6 p.m. Eastern. We are skipping, Lindsay's going to punch me in the nose again. We're skipping Networking Magic this Wednesday. Next Wednesday, we'll be back. Here's the quote. It's considerably less polite than Jeff Gittimer. Are you ready, though? Frank Zappa. You ever heard of Frank Zappa? One of those great musicians of the 60s and 70s here in the U.S. He said one time, you ready for this? If you wind up with a boring, miserable life because you listen to your mother, your dad, your priest, some guy on television, to any of the people telling you how to do your shit, then you deserve it.
He also said, "Don't you eat that yellow snow."
That's an important safety tip. One more time. If you wind up with a boring, miserable life because you listen to your mother, your dad, your priest, or some guy on television, to any of the people telling you how to do your shit, then you deserve it. So don't let nobody tell you which dreams to go for. Let nobody tell you to be realistic. What fun is realistic? Your dreams.
He also said flies all green and buzzing.
Thank you all so much for spending a few minutes with us. Go UK, rule Britannia, right? It's just, this footy match should be fun. Suzanne's fired up. Let's go. Once again, it's Books for Britain at 6 UK time, 1 Eastern time. Life and Business Tools with Adrian at 6 Eastern time this evening. And it's been the Wednesday general session. Hey, big news. I'm back tomorrow morning for your general session. Going to be seeing you again tomorrow. Listen, you all, make it a fabulous day. Hey, I've achieved, I accomplished something. Big goal. Do you know that I have now learned to say, live long and prosper in the original Vulcan? You ready for this? Tritor esmosma. Live long and prosper. Have a great day, y'all. See you soon. Bye for now.